Now I'm going to pause right here because guess what? We have a live special guest. My buddy and yours, George Webb, investigative journalist, probably still live in Butler, Pennsylvania, with an update. George has been on the scene since late Sunday evening. George, good morning to you, my man. How are you?
Great, Mike. Yes, I am here in Butler. Interestingly enough, I'm in the same hotel where there's a lot of the Can-Am games, police and fire games are going on. I just had breakfast with the pistol shooting team here, and they all got in here on Sunday. So, again, if you're bringing in a second shooter, it's great to do it right when, you got 50 or 60 different people from different shooting teams all over Canada and North America coming into Butler, Pennsylvania.
That's incredible. You're the only one reporting that. I had not heard that. So
I took a picture.
Tournament.
Well, it's not only pistol; it's open bore, large rifle.
Oh,
it's also skeet. So it's a shooting gallery here in Butler. I just took a picture with the pistol team and put it out on Twitter for people who didn't believe me. Nobody could believe me. With the Canadians. My room here is full of Ukrainian accents, so I don't know how all these Ukrainians got on the Canadian team. But I'm not kidding you. There are people spasiba and harasho and all the speaking in Russian, and so it's a heck of a situation here in Butler.
So now this event was to happen this week, and they all arrived on Sunday. Is that what you were saying? Yeah,
they all came in on Sunday. Some came in early. There's so many leads here in Butler. I can't believe people are just moving on. It's like it's the Kennedy assassination in Dealey Plaza, where I've been down in Dallas and then also in New Orleans in your neck of the woods. It's just a fountain of metadata, and everybody just kind of moving on like there's no conspiracy here. We had new shots of forensic analysis yesterday of 11 shots, 3 different types of weapons. I put that video out there on my Substack. How could the guy shoot 3 different weapons? The shot patterns don't line up. There's a 20-degree deflection in the shot patterns. So we're not leaving this, just brushing it under the rug here.
Now, I don't know if you've heard this. I want to play a clip from you. This was in a show yesterday at the Republican National Convention. You're going to hear the voice of Dan Bongino. You know Dan. Maybe you have this intel, maybe you don't. Here, Maggie, roll the clip if you would. Let's play it for the audience and for George.
So I was just showing Tucker some material from an unimpeachable source, let's just say, on the matter. That post, according to my source, that roof, was supposed to be a police post. It was supposed to be someone there. They're now making up excuses, saying the pitch or the roof. My source says to me no one knows why the post didn't show up. But so that's a nonsense story they're putting out in the media. And I was also told that the Secret Service director has been given instructions from the administration and the DHS secretary. If you want to keep your job, you'll keep your mouth shut about this. They're not putting that out there, but if you get those site post logs and those police instructions and there was a post on there and they didn't show up and no one checked, someone could have got your dad killed within millimeters.
So I know that you know about the pitch of the roof excuse from Kim Cheadle, and that the local cops supposedly confronted Matthew Thomas Crooks, which is emerging here. There's no way that this kid could possibly have done this. Let me just share something with you, George. A fellow Substacker, Frank Wright, was on with me yesterday. Frank has a clandestine, so that tells me special ops, military background. He told me that he walked off the distance that would have taken for Crooks to have bear crawled on that roof, and then the timestamp of when he went up there from the far corner to where he reached the peak where he shot from. This is a special ops guy, and he told me, he goes like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it in the 142 seconds allotted. I couldn't do it, and there's no way I could have crawled with a weapon and got it in proper position and made the shot.
Well, that's aligning with the evidence we're seeing. There's 3 encounters with police, with Crooks. There's 30 minutes, up to potentially 30 minutes, being on a short roof and then going into the final position. But you're right. Again, having been to the site several times, there's a hovering shot, if you will, that like, the old police warden in a prison where you put somebody on the guard tower. I mean, this isn't a new concept. There's a water tower right there that has total enfilade fire over anything, looking directly down on the American Glass Research building. So you would certainly put somebody there. We're following up on a story of potentially four people that were supposed to be in the Jill Biden motorcade when she came to Pittsburgh the same day. Those four officers decided to go and be a part of the Trump motorcade, and they slipped into the Trump motorcade. And two of them were wounded, and now they've been relieved from the Pittsburgh police. Now, what is the Pittsburgh police and Jill Biden's motorcade cops going and now, kind of running in the end of the parade, sort of like at the end of Wizard of Oz, when the lion and they add themselves to, they add themselves to we've got that situation. We've got the Wizard of Oz with the lion and the Tin Man and the Straw Man going in with the rest of the Trump motorcade, and we're wondering where are their whereabouts. They've been very secretly moved out of the motorcycle unit. Two of them were wounded, so this isn't something that's going to go away with shrapnel.
George Webb, investigative journalist on our Dude Maker hotline. Find him at georgewebb.substack.com. Also on the Twitter, the same address. George, I'm just thinking as you're talking, you've been there for 3 days now. Imagine if we would have had the internet in 1963, and guys like you would have been able to get to Dallas.
Yeah.
Imagine what we would, what the American people and what the American public would have then learned about the assassination of President Kennedy. They were able to stifle this narrative. They were able to present their narrative of Lee Harvey Oswald's lone gunman, and then Russian operative, and all that. They were able to frame that narrative. They had all their assets in place because the internet wasn't around, and we didn't have that kind of mass communication. And the only piece of real visual evidence was the film, and you know this. You've written books about it. It was filmed by Abraham Zapruder. Most of the American public and American people would not learn, George, until Geraldo Rivera played that tape in 1977 on ABC News. They would not even know that the tape that the film had existed because Henry Luce had bought it from Zapruder, and he had bought it to stifle it. So I'm listening to you talk, and you're finding all these clues out. Do they think that they're going to get away with this?
No, I don't think so. I sometimes kind of have dreams about being there when they bring Oswald out and say, "Did you work at Etsugi U-2 base in 1957? Were you at the secret radio tracking station for U-2s in Belarus? Do you know a guy named McCone and the McCone memo and all these things? And how long you been with the CIA?" I would have loved for that to have been asked real time. But as you mentioned, we do have the internet now. We are allowed to ask these questions real time. And I encourage everybody to go to my Substack and look at the 11-shot analysis with 3 different guns. I have interviewed several snipers. I'm in a whole building full of snipers right now.
That's right.
So I'm interviewing all of the guys. You can see the picture out of 5 guys from New York today, and then a Canadian officer as well. So it's just a metadata bonanza here in terms of forensics. And I think people need to look at and see how these lapses with Secret Service and so forth could not possibly happen in anyone's estimation. Even a low security prison in Mississippi knows enough to put the guard on the watchtower with the rifle, and the water tower there right behind there where some of the shots line up is the obvious place to have total security and total visual field. And it didn't happen. So we have to ask why.
Yeah. And not only why, and now it is the water tower. We keep hearing about the water tower. What distance is it from the stage? I know you've been to the site, so give our audience kind of a view of how far away is it?
From where the shooter Crooks is, go about 20 degrees to Trump's rear or side, and it's about another 60 yards back. So I would say about 200 yards from the Trump. I haven't and had access to the site. The FBI's got it walled off, but about 200 yards. But the top sniper that I interviewed with the Army, that I actually saw the Trump event live with, said he could hit a target from 5,000 yards, right? So that's a mile. So 200 yards for these guys with a scope and so forth is really not much of a shot.
So I see on your site now. I see the graphic layout. I see you with the water tower back there. Now, are water towers just by and large secured? I mean, don't they have fences with locks around them on and gates to get in?
Yeah. I'm by where we are right now, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of leads coming in, so if you can hear that bell. But anyway,
that's fine.
I'm right looking at a water tower right now, and it's the same manufacturer of the water tower that's a mile away here at the hotel I'm at, and there's a fence around it. It says under video surveillance, etc. Now, I don't think the shooter would be as bold enough to go on the water tower, but in that area, I hate to say the grassy knoll, but the grassy or leafy area, you could get a shot off in there. And again, everyone is pointing to this other guy. You want the patsy to be in a very obvious, place. So everybody's yelling and pointing at the people that you want, and then you make your escape from the leafy area. Again, it's only another 60 yards to the trees for a protected shot. And there was also bushes as well. That were involved, in and around that weren't being checked. The idea that the Secret Service would cordon that off, being that close, and just say, "Well, we'll just throw this over to the Butler police." You're not going to believe this, Mike, but the guy who is the chief information officer for the Butler police, the Beach Boys sang about him, Sloop John B. John B. Sloop, SLUPE, is the guy who's already admitted that the Butler police force added snipers to supplement the Secret Service. Now, what the heck is going on? Nobody plays a championship basketball game and then just all of a sudden takes two walk-ons that they've never seen before. So there's a lot of questions here for John B. Sloop, the Sloop John B.
Have you done any investigation on the timing of the event? Because I'm on Trump's email list, and I went back and looked to see when they announced this. They announced this event, if my intel is correct, exactly 7 days before. So you only had a 7-day window to plan this. Is that what do you have the same intel?
Yeah, I've gone to a lot of the Trump events, and I like you mentioned, knowing Scavino, who is kind of the advanced man on this. If you have a promise of a commitment, a financial commitment to the Trump organization, I've been to the Eric Trump events and Donald Trump Jr. events, and you can raise $500,000 or sometimes $1 million, depending on where they set the bar, and you guarantee that for Trump, then you get the event, and they can book that within like a 7-day window. Not usually less than that, because Secret Service wants the time to do the analysis, but there's just a whole bunch of questions here bringing these Pittsburgh folks in. That's 60 minutes to the north. Like I said before with the Wizard of Oz, at the end of the motorcade. I mean, that's where we're looking really carefully right now.
All right, George, thanks for the update. Call back anytime, my brother, and stay safe. You're a big target at 6'8". Damn it, stay safe.
Well, I got a lot of friends in the Canadian police and the U.S. police that I'm making here. So I'll take your advice, Mike. Thank you very much.
All right. God bless you, brother. We'll talk soon.